A better life, better vision, what you wanting? Let's make it happen. Time to choose the better story. Come on. Choose the better story. Hey, choose the better story. Yeah.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Choose the Better Story podcast. My name is Ryan, and I'm your host. And this is a podcast about vision, mindset, performance, and purpose. I'm going to start today by answering a question because a lot of you have been coming to me asking me about coaching and wanting to make sure that I'm still in the solar space, which, yes, of course, I'm still in the solar space. I love what I do in the solar industry. I've just been taking this coaching on first and foremost because I wanted to be the best possible coach for the company that I'm a part of. But more than that, I've got a real desire to make one-on-one impact in lives. I wanted to take time today to kind of let you know the type of person that I'm looking for to coach. So if this fits the description of you, or if it's the description of somebody that you know, man, I'd love one to be able to offer a free vision call for you or for the person that you can think of. But really the type of person that I'm after, who I would love to coach, I would love to coach community heroes. And when I say community heroes, what I'm actually meaning is I want to come alongside people who are already making a tremendous impact in their local community because I feel like I can help coach them. They'll actually in turn make a greater impact on the community. So not only will they benefit personally, but the community benefits as a result. So what a coach does is actually helps you get really clear on the things that you want in life and in your future, and also helps you shatter those limited mindsets that you have, or maybe ways that you tend to get in your own way as you're trying to head towards the things that you want. That's what a coach really does. And more than that, as a coach, I really love to hear people say, man, I didn't think I was capable of doing that. And so if that fits you, or if it's someone you know, man, send them my direction. Again, that has nothing to do with the podcast today, but I've been getting enough questions about it. I thought it would be worth verbalizing the type of people that I would love to coach. And so even if you're like not sure if coaching is even for you, again, I would love to offer you a free vision call. And the purpose of a vision call is just to it's actually really fun. You get to talk about the things that you really want to do in your life, the things that are important to you. And then my job during that vision call is just to help you get really clear on what it is that you really want and to dream, to actually dream. Man, when we were kids, we all had dreams. And what happened when we were kids to where we are as adults, sometimes we just end up settling. And I think there's more to life than settling. And so I love being in this space as a coach because it helps people reimagine what they really want out of life and to go for it. If you're not sure if it would be the right thing for you, I would just suggest go ahead and schedule one. What the heck? You got nothing to lose. So again, it is totally free. Feel free to drop me a DM. I'll make sure to drop that in the show notes. Most of you know how to get a hold of me by now, but I'll put it in there just in case. Okay, so let's dive into the topic for the day. I'm going to read off a list of names here, and then I'm going to follow it up with a question. My guess is probably 95% of you are going to know the answer to the question, but let's just see if you're correct. All right, here's the names. Joe Montana, Walter Payton, Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, Babe Ruth, Mike Trout, Wayne Gretzky, Serena Williams, Jesse Owens, Jackie Joyner-Kersee, Tiger Woods, Pele, Muhammad Ali, and Dale Earnhardt. The question is, what cereal box did each of these famous athletes appear on? My guess is 95% of you know that the answer is Wheaties. That's right. Wheaties is the breakfast of champions. And I want to just give a couple fun facts about Wheaties. Did you know that Wheaties was formed when in 1921, a Minnesota clinician accidentally spilled wheat bran on a hot stove, and instead of burning, it flaked. And then Wheaties were born. But it actually didn't start off as Wheaties. Another fun fact is it was originally called Washburn's Gold Medal Whole Wheat Flakes. Now that's a mouthful. I'm glad they changed it to Wheaties. It officially got its branding name of the Breakfast of Champions in 1933. It started as a little radio jingle and it has stuck for almost a century. And the one reason that I loved Wheaties the most is because my idol growing up was Michael Jordan. And Michael Jordan has been on the Wheaties box more than any other athlete. And also, I believe that he is the GOAT of basketball. If I haven't made that clear in the past, I'm making it clear again. I would say I wasn't always a fan of the taste of Wheaties, but because Michael Jordan was on the box of Wheaties regularly, of course, I was an automatic fan and I was bought into the Breakfast of Champions slogan. I believe that the real Breakfast of Champions has nothing to do with a cereal or a breakfast that you eat. It all starts with your morning routine and what happens when you first wake up in the day. It's really important. So in the last episode, I talked to you about how I'm a recovering snoozeaholic. I love to hit the snooze button in the morning when I was a teenager. And I also talked about the reality that when we hit snooze in the morning, we're essentially hitting snooze on life. Fortunately, I kind of grew out of my bad habit of being a snoozeaholic and grew up and started taking advantage of my mornings. And there's a book that I have read. It's actually called The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. This book has been so meaningful to me in my journey. The subtitle here is called The 6 Habits That Will Transform Your Life Before 8 a.m. And I'm telling you, I have taken this to heart and put these things into practice, and it is now part of my morning routine. And I thought it would be really helpful to unpack what these 6 habits are because they've been transformational in my own journey, and I'm confident it will provide some value for you as well. So in his book, he's got 6 habits that will transform you before 8 a.m. And these 6 habits spell out an acronym called SAVERS, SAVERS. And the beautiful thing about these SAVERS habits is that if you put them into practice and you make them a consistent part of your day, not only will your morning be transformed, but your entire day gets transformed. And that's proven to be the case in my life. That's why I'm passing this on. I think you're going to get some real value here. The first habit of SAVERS is S, and it stands for silence. And we live in a very, very rapid paced world. We live in a rat race from the moment that we wake up. Man, something's vying for our attention all the way through when we lay our head down on the pillow at night. Things are vying for our attention. It is like sometimes our days are an absolute whirlwind of noise and a whirlwind of chaos, and it can be absolutely wild. But to slow down and start your day with silence, for some of you, just sitting in silence sounds like a dream. For some of you, because you're so used to the noise, silence is actually scary. So let's talk about some things that you can do to maximize this time of silence. First, I would say, don't do this in bed. Don't try to have moments of silence in bed. What you're going to do is you're going to fall back to sleep. So one of the things you're really going to want to pay attention to during this time of silence, you're really going to want to focus on your breathing. Pay attention to your breathing. There are so many studies that talk about the power of our own breath and what it means to our life and actually on our health. You've probably heard if someone's having a panic attack, they're really encouraged to focus on their breathing. If you're exercising, if you've ever really pushed yourself to the limit, like we call it like redlining, like you're like you about maxed out in terms of your aerobic bandwidth, man, they tell you just to really focus on your breath work. Focus in on that. That helps you just gain control again of your heartbeat to regulate it. I'm just going to teach you a very simple thing that you can do when you're focusing on your breath work. It's just called square breathing. I think scientifically they just call it square breathing. What it's going to look like is you're going to inhale for 4 seconds, and then you're going to hold your breath for 4 seconds. Then you're going to exhale for 4 seconds. And then the last 4 seconds is like do whatever feels good to you that's just relaxing. When you're breathing, make sure you're in a relaxed spot. And second is you want to make sure that it's your belly that's expanding. You don't want to be inhaling and seeing your chest expand. You want to see your belly expanding. That means you're taking a nice deep breath. And so here's what it's going to look like. I'm going to count it out for us. So you're going to inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, relax, 2, 3, 4, inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Relax. 2, 3, 4. And if you just spend some time doing that, just really focused on your breath work, you're going to find, first of all, some of you might get lightheaded, and that's your brain basically saying, thank you for the oxygen. Thank you for the oxygen. I need this. It's your lungs saying, thank you for the oxygen. Sometimes we're so stressed that we don't understand that our breath is actually hindering us in some way. And when we intentionally focus in silence on our breath work, our body, our brain, everything is just saying, thank you, thank you, thank you. Like this is the fuel I need. And so also I'd say, like, if you're really focused on being quiet and silent, don't be surprised that thoughts are going to be like rushing through your mind. They're going to pay you a visit. That's absolutely normal, but just try to do whatever you can in silence to just focus in on your breath work, focus in on lowering your heart rate. And trust me, you will feel a less amount of stress. And it's interesting how your worries kind of tend to wither away when you're focused on the beautiful miracle of the breath. Some other things that you can do during this time of silence is just spend some time in prayer, spend some time in reflection and silence, just reflecting on what's going on in life, what's going on in your head. If you've got some goals or some priorities, like reflecting on those, where are you at in all that? Some of you might be thinking, well, gosh, how long do I have to spend in silence? That would be like a torture. And this is more like a choose your own adventure thing. I'm not going to tell you exactly how much time to spend there. I would just say there is value in starting your day in silence. The second habit is A, and A stands for affirmations. Muhammad Ali is famous for saying, I am the greatest. He affirmed these words to himself, then he affirmed these words in public, and then he became them in his respective sport. The point of affirmations isn't just to like pat yourself on the back. It's really about having the right conversation with yourself. One of the most important conversations you're going to have today and every day is the conversation that you have with yourself. And the conversation that you have with yourself, it's either working for you or it's working against you. If the way you talk to yourself sounds like you're against yourself, then you are your own worst enemy to start every day. And that own worst enemy, that voice, that soundtrack just follows you through every day. And that affects how you operate. So again, choose a better story. Do you want to have conversations that you sound like you're against yourself? Or do you want to have the conversation where you are for yourself and you want to see yourself succeed and win? Choose a better story there. You might feel really weird affirming yourself, but that's actually really powerful. This conversation you have with yourself is transformational, not only to your morning, but your entire day, and ultimately to your entire life. It affects your relationships. It affects your health. It affects your happiness. It affects your wealth. It affects your confidence. A lot of things stem from the conversations and the soundtracks that you have playing in the back of your mind. It all starts with a conversation you're having with yourself. So you might be thinking, well, what types of things am I supposed to say during this time of affirmation in the morning? Well, I have a couple suggestions. One is identify what it is that you really, really want. Be clear and specific about that. And then why you want those things and like who you're committed to being in order to achieve those things. That's the affirmation. I want to be this. I want to be this, or I am this. A great way to start your affirmations, especially if you're journaling, is to start your affirmations with the word I am. I am, and you fill in the blank. I am courageous. I am bold. I am available. I am present. I am peace. I am patience. Whatever you want to be about, that's what your affirmations should say. The last thing is, like in terms of affirmations, what are you committed to doing in order to have the things that you want? Spell that out in terms of the affirmation. Like, I am committed to my goals. I am going to do whatever it takes. I am going to sacrifice for the things that I really want. Make that a part of your daily affirmations, and it's crazy how your brain will start to align with the things that you are saying and the things that you are thinking. It's actually quite incredible. You want to put yourself to the test? Say your affirmations out loud. Hear your own voice saying the things that you want to be about. Hear your own voice saying what you're committed to in order to have the things that you want. That is the conversation that you want to train your brain to operate out of. And trust me, if you start doing that early in the morning, that will follow you through the course of the day, especially if you make it a consistent habit in your morning routine. And the third habit of savers is V, and V stands for visualization. Another word for visualization would be mental rehearsal. So visualization is like the process of like visualizing what it is that you want and then mentally playing out what you need to do in order to accomplish the things that are important to you. I'm sure you probably have heard this story before, but actor Jim Carrey, in 1987, he wrote himself a check for $10 million. In the memo line, it said, "For acting services rendered." And he dated it for Thanksgiving of 1995. And as you might recall, in 1995, Jim Carrey took on the leading role of the movie Dumb and Dumber. Do you want to guess how much he got paid for that? $10 million. That's the power of visualization. He said, I'm going to do this, whatever it takes, I'm going to do it. And he worked his way to that spot. Now that took him real guts to actually write that out, but it took more guts to actually go out and do the work necessary to be able to be paid that much. And that's the power of visualization. Like if you mentally rehearse the things that you want, your brain starts to align with your thoughts and your intentions. And that's always a good thing when it's aligned with the vision that you have for your life. You probably heard countless stories of athletes who have made a winning shot or a winning hit or a winning putt. And they'll say things like, oh yeah, well, I had mentally rehearsed that in my mind thousands of times before that game-winning shot went in. I had mentally rehearsed that putt going in thousands of times before I made that match-winning putt. Yeah, that 60-yard field goal that I made, I've mentally rehearsed that. I've visualized making that kick thousands upon thousands of times. Some people are really scared or think it's weird to visualize success. Like it actually creeps you out to think in terms of succeeding and to let your mind go there. Like you're scared of success. Well, a question for you, why not mentally rehearse the things that you want? Now, I'm more of a practical guy. You're not going to see me writing a check for $10 million like Jim Carrey did. I'm just more of a practical guy. And so when I spend time in the morning visualizing, I'm just visualizing my day before I even leave the house. So at the company that I'm with, a couple of days of the week, I'm just like a teacher and a trainer. And I visualize bringing energy. I visualize the people that I'm talking to attentive and paying attention and grasping the concepts that I'm teaching. I visualize speaking clearly, speaking with passion, telling people the truth. If I'm running appointments for solar, I visualize those appointments before I even go into them. I rehearse those in the morning before I even go to the appointments in the afternoon. And so when I get to the appointment in the afternoon, I've already been there. I've already had the conversation. I don't have anything to worry about because I've visualized how it's going to be going in my mind. Now, does it always go that way? No. But when I visualize positive outcomes, it's amazing how many times the outcomes are actually positive. I've personally found that for me, when I'm spending this time of visualizing in the morning, it helps me get focused. It helps me stay purposeful. It helps me keep my priorities in place. And I feel like I'm already won the day before I've even left the house. That's the power of visualization. The fourth habit in the SAVERS acronym is E, and E stands for exercise. Now, some of you might have the habit of going to the gym or working out after work in the afternoon or in the evening. Nothing wrong with that at all. I'm going to suggest that you still implement some aerobic activity in the morning, something that gets your heart rate up. There are there's so many studies out there that talk about the health benefits of getting your heart rate up early in the morning with vigorous, really getting after it exercise. And the best part about this is you don't have to go to a gym for this. The statistics say if you spend 5 to 10 minutes in the morning of doing rigorous high intensity exercise, The health benefits are so apparent for doing this. And what I love most about it is you don't have to spend time going to a gym in the morning. You can do all of these things seriously in your own home. Let me just give you a couple things that you can do in your own place that will actually be beneficial to you. One is you can run in place, okay? Or you can do jumping jacks. Or you can do jump rope and you're like, oh, I don't have a jump rope. Fake jump rope. Just like jump. There are studies right now that talk about just jumping in the morning up and down has tremendous benefits if you do it with high intensity. You can do push-ups. That doesn't take any equipment. You can do squats. You can do lunges. Like all these things require no equipment at all, and they have tremendous benefits. Again, the key here is not just doing push-ups. If you're going to do push-ups, do them as fast as you can. If you're doing jumping jacks, don't just do jumping jacks, like don't lollygag. Do them as fast as you can. You should be breathing heavy, and you should be to a spot where you're almost breaking a sweat. And again, you don't have to do this for 10 minutes, like rigorous exercise, like 10 minutes in a row. Go really hard for a minute and just take a rest. Go really hard for another minute and then take a rest. If you do that like for 5 to 10 minutes, it's going to be well worth the time invested. There's so many health benefits that come as a result of this. And there's plenty of studies that can back it up. I dare you to just Google what's the benefits of morning exercise, and you'll have a plethora of things that you can look at on the internet. I think the other side benefit to exercising in the morning is just creating a discipline where right out the gate, you're committed to doing hard things. You're committed to doing difficult things. Besides all the other benefits, just you being true to your word and staying disciplined in it, like, no, I'm committing 10 minutes to this, or I'm committing 5 minutes to this, just being true to your word. It's incredible what happens to your mental strength when you say you're going to do something and then you actually do it. So if you commit to 5 minutes a day of doing high intensity aerobic exercises like jumping jacks or running in place or fake jump rope, then follow through on that. And that's just you keeping a promise to yourself early in the day. And trust me, when you start your day keeping promises to yourself, it has a long-term compound effect that results in good things as well. Trust me, I know life is demanding and it's waiting for you, and you probably haven't had your cup of coffee yet in the morning and you're still feeling groggy. Man, wake yourself up by doing a little bit of exercise, and your future self will thank you in advance for the health benefits you're creating. Habit number 5 in the SAVERS acronym is R, and R stands for reading. And reading is to the mind like what exercise is to the body. Reading is one of the most immediate methods for gaining knowledge, ideas, resources, and strategies that help you become a level 10 success in all aspects of your life. Here's the thing. There are already so many experts out there that have succeeded in the things that are important to you, and they've already written books about it. And so instead of you trying to reinvent the wheel or go after something crazy that you think no one else has done, trust me, someone's probably already done it, and they've already recorded how they've become successful doing it. And reading is a very simple way to like dive into the things that you're really passionate about and dive into the things that you really want to do, the things that align with your vision. Reading is a real practical way to do that. Now, this is coming from somebody that, by the way, I am not a good reader. What I do in the morning, my morning routine, is I'm going to read a chapter of the Bible. That's just for my personal discipline. That's really important to me. But I also am a nerd. If you ever see me at the gym, feel free to just shake your head and laugh at me. But I'm also the nerd that will go read a chapter of a book on the treadmill. I'm not saying spend an hour reading every day. It only takes me a couple minutes to read a chapter of the Bible. And it probably takes me, between 10 minutes to read a chapter in a book. And if it takes longer than 10 minutes, I'll just read part of a chapter. I don't care. The idea, though, is I always want to be taking in. I always want to be learning. I always want to be growing. And I always want to be doing something that, for me, is actually challenging my mind. Because, like I said, naturally, I'm not a good reader. But I'm going to do that regardless. And fortunately for me, I haven't had an accident yet falling off of the treadmill while I'm reading. A lot of people think that I can't do two things at once, but I've proven that so far I'm able to read and stay on the treadmill at the same time without falling. Crossing my fingers that stays the case in the future, because at the gym, that would be really, really embarrassing to fall down and then just see my book flying all over the place. That would be really bad. If you read a book that you're not into, like within the first chapter or two, and me, I just chuck it. I don't spend any more of my time worrying about a book that I don't want to continue reading. I get rid of it and I instead read another book that I am more interested in, or I'll try a new one. You should actually look forward to your time of reading. It should be like rocket fuel, like the extra rocket fuel to really boost you into a productive day. So the sixth habit in the SAVERS acronym is S, and S stands for scribing. It was Diana Rabb that said, writing words on a page is a form of therapy that doesn't cost a dime. Now, scribing is just another word for writing or journaling. So what's the purpose? What's the point of writing? The purpose and the point is to actually get out on paper the things that are going on in your mind. I want to make sure that you understand here that in no way is this journaling supposed to be perfect. In no way does it even need to look good. In the coaching cohort that I'm a part of right now, they've got this term called SFD, and that stands for shitty first draft. And we're talking all the time about how we need to give things a try, and we just need to just get it done, even if it's messy. And so understand, that's what journaling is. If you're a messy writer, perfect. If you're a perfectionist, I give you permission to make this time of writing a complete mess, a complete disaster. Every single day is a shitty first draft. Just get out on paper the things that are on your mind. So another very easy thing that you can do, and very simple to write about. Again, this is another acronym. It spells FACTS, F-A-C-T-S. Easy thing to write about. What are you frustrated with? What are you avoiding? What are you complaining about? What are you tolerating? And what are you scared of? Those would be easy things if you're not sure what to write about. Write about the facts. A follow-up question to facts is, well, what do you want to do about it? What are you frustrated with? Okay, well, what do you want to do about it? What are you complaining about? Okay, what do you want to do about it? What are you scared of? All right, what do you want to do about it? That propels you to be thinking, as you're writing it down, your mind is thinking how you don't want to stay there. You don't want to stay scared. You don't want to stay frustrated. You don't want to stay avoiding things. As you write that down, your mind is literally aligning with the solve to the problems, the solve to the things that you're frustrated with, the solve to what you're scared of. And you're writing those things down, and what you want to do about it is the remedy there, how you're going to take action. And now you're just training your mind, this is what I want to do to take action. And trust me, when you start your day that way with an action plan for trying to eliminate the facts in your life, FACTS, it's incredible how much quicker you will find yourself taking action because you actually took time to write it down and to rehearse what you wanted to do about it. Some other things that you could write down: who do you want to become? What's it going to take for you to get there? What sacrifices are you going to need to make along the way? Who are you committed to being in order to have the things that you really want? And maybe another thing to write down is, hey, what do you want to acknowledge yourself for? Maybe you had spent in the past, you wanted to write some things about what you're scared of, and you actually took action on something that you were scared of. You can celebrate these things in your writing. Acknowledge yourself. Notice how you have taken action. You're putting facts into practical action steps, and you're actually accomplishing those. Man, celebrate every small victory. And one of the last things I'd recommend spend time writing about and journaling about, it will always do you good if you simply just write out the things that you're grateful for. It is absolutely astounding how much better your day can be if it starts out grounded in gratitude. Again, I'm not talking about writing a novel, and I'm definitely not talking about it being perfect. This is a shitty first draft every single day. It's okay if it's messy. It's okay if it is ugly. It's okay if you got stuff crossed out. Who cares? You'll be really happy that you invested this amount of time just to writing just a little bit every day, your shitty first draft. So there you have it. Those are the 6 letters to the SAVERS acronym, SAVERS: silence, affirmation, visualization, exercise, reading, and scribing and or journaling. That is how to start your day off like a champion. That is the real breakfast of champions. Now, I wanted to end by saying this. Some of you might be thinking, oh my goodness, I have to implement 6 new habits into my life. I don't even think I can add 1 new habit into my life, into my morning routine. I thought the same thing. I didn't think I had the time either. But the end of the book, he challenges people to actually put it into practice, even if it's with baby steps. And trust me, you can probably find a little bit of time to implement all 6 of these things, and they will have a dramatic difference in your life. Just like Wheaties as the breakfast of champions, I'm a firm believer that these habits will create a champion mentality in you if you do them successfully. Now, again, this isn't asking you to add 6 hours to your life. In fact, in his book, The Miracle Morning, Hal Elrod said you could do all 6 of these things in just 6 minutes. Just spend 1 minute doing each of these things. Now, I have found that that's not enough time for me, because if I'm going to spend time in silence, I need more than a minute, because man, it takes me a minute to like just gather myself. If I'm writing stuff, it takes me longer than a minute, and I'm definitely a slow reader, so I need more than 1 minute. Here's my suggestion. Again, you can tailor this to however you want, but this is what I would say. My recommendation is 5 minutes of silence, 5 minutes of affirmations, 5 minutes of visualization, 10 minutes of vigorous exercise, 10 minutes of reading, and 5 minutes of scribing. If you add all that up, that's just 40 minutes of your day. I bet a good majority of you probably doom scroll for 40 minutes before you even leave the house. I'm willing to bet a good majority do. And if that's the case, that's okay. I'm just saying there's other habits that you can have in your morning routine that actually help set your day up for success and allow you to go out and to live a day like a champion. And Savers is a way for you to get there. So if you are ready for the breakfast of champions, and I'm not talking about the old wheat cereal with athletes on the box, I'm talking about starting every day with a stellar morning routine, man, you are in for a wild ride and total transformation of your entire day. All I can say is you just watch. The better story is on the other side, and I will see you there.
A better life, better vision, what you wanting? Let's make it happen. Time to choose the better story. Come on. Choose the better story.